Assalamualaikum and a very good day to everyone. For today's topic, graph of trigonometric function, and we will only discuss two type of graph, which is y equals sine x and y equal cos x. Let's start with the first one. This is the graph of y equals sine x from negative to pi less equal x less equal to pi. Okay, so this is the graph from negative to pi until 0, one cycle, and then from 0 until to pi, another cycle. So one complete cycle starting from here 0 until to pi. And this graph also can be divided into four subinterval. Okay, first subinterval pi over 2, second subinterval pi, third subinterval 3 pi over 2, and then the fourth subinterval 2 pi. Jadi bila nak sketch, kita boleh plot dululah pi over 2, pi, 3 pi over 2 to pi, and then connect. Okay, to make one complete cycle. This graph is odd function because the graph is symmetry about the origin. Let's take a look at the second graph, which is graph y equal cos x, also from negative to pi less equal x less equal to pi. So first cycle from negative to pi until 0, and then second cycle from 0 until to pi. So one complete cycle is from 0 until to pi. This graph can be divided into four subinterval. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, this one is for one complete cycle. So this graph is even function because the graph is symmetry about the y-axis. Okay, in each graph of trigonometric function, we can find the period and amplitude. If alpha more than 0, okay, given alpha more than 0, y equal a sine alpha x, or y equal a cos alpha x. Then to find the amplitude, a equal modulus a, amplitude, kita boleh katakan dia sebagai ketinggian lah. Okay, the height of the graph. And then to find the period, symbol is t equal to pi over alpha. Okay, if amplitude is the height of the graph, then period t is the size of one complete cycle. Okay, size untuk satu pusingan sempurna. Okay, untuk graph tersebut. Alright, if this one y equal sine x, compare with y equal a sine alpha x. Okay, from there we know that a equal 1, alpha also equal to 1. And then to find period, t equal 2 pi over alpha, 2 pi over 1. So, the period is 2 pi. Okay, betul tak amplitude sama dengan 1? Tengok graf, tinggi dia atas 1, bawah pun 1. So, betul, amplitude equal 1. And then t, period is the size of one complete cycle. One complete cycle starting from 0 here, 0 until 2 pi. So, t is equal to 2 pi also. Correct. Okay, kalau tak nak ambil cycle ni, ambil cycle dari sini pun negative 2 pi until 0. Okay, the size of one cycle is still 2 pi. And the amplitude, okay, the height of the graph is still 1. So, sama juga. Okay, let's do this one. Y equal cos x. If we compare with y equal a cos alpha x, then we get modulus a equal 1 and alpha also equal 1. From alpha, we can get the period 2 pi over alpha, 2 pi over 1 equal 2 pi. Okay, so amplitude equal 1. Look at the graph. The height of the graph 1, 1. Okay, so atas ni 1, bawah pun 1. Okay, that is the amplitude size untuk ni lah, daripada 0 hingga 1, 0 hingga 1. So amplitude equal 1. And then the period T, size of one complete cycle starting from 0 until 2 pi. Complete cycle mesti ada 4 sub interval. Okay, so betul. Amplitude equal 1, T also equal 2 pi. Example 14, find the amplitude and period for the following function. Okay, y equal 4 sine 2x. We will compare each equation with y equal a sine alpha x and y equal a cos alpha x. Okay, y equal 4 sine 2x alpha and not to find amplitude equal modulus A, so modulus 4, amplitude equal 4. And from this equation, we know that alpha equal 2. So to find period, 2 pi over 2 equal pi. If we want to try to sketch the graph, okay, this is graph sine. Now the amplitude is 4. Okay, kat atas 4, bawah negative 4. The size of one cycle is pi. Okay, satu cycle ni pi. So kalau nak lukis sampai 2 pi, awak akan dapat 2 cycle. Okay, so macam ni. Amplitude 4, 4 negative 4. Period, size of one cycle is pi. So satu cycle penuh pi. Kalau awak nak lukis sampai 2 pi, so kita akan dapat 2 cycle. Okay, for B, y equals sine 3x. Amplitude is 1. Okay, alpha equal 3. So to find period, 2 pi over 3. Okay, this one also graph of sine. Okay, now the amplitude is only 1. So 1, negative 1. The size of one cycle is 2 pi over 3. So only one cycle is only 2 pi over 3. If we want to do until 2 pi, we will get, okay, second cycle is 4 over 3 pi. Third cycle, 2 pi. So for 2 pi, we will get 3 complete cycle. Okay, sebab period 2 pi over 3. So satu cycle ni size dia cuma 2 pi per 3. Okay, and then the last one, y equal negative 2 cos theta over 2. Okay, modulus. To find amplitude, modulus A, modulus negative 2, amplitude is 2. And then to find period, okay, theta over 2, meaning that alpha equal 1 over 2. So 2 pi divided by 1 over 2, we get 4 pi. Okay. Amplitude 2, 2, negative 2. This graph is cos. Kalau cos yang biasa, macam ni. Okay, cycle 2 pi, tinggi 1, negatif 1. Tapi ini negatif. Okay, bila negatif, graf kita terbalik lah. Okay, graf terbalik. Okay, ini kalau positif, ini kalau negatif. Okay, amplitude 2, negatif 2, period 4 pi. So, satu complete cycle ni, size dia 4 pi. So, dia sangat besar. Okay, normally, one cycle, the size is only 2 pi. However, for this one, the period is 4 pi. Kalau nak divide kepada 4 subinterval, okay, first subinterval is pi, and then 2 pi, 3 pi, and then 4 pi. Okay, this one is from homework. Period and amplitude. Determine the amplitude and period for the following function. Okay, look at the example. Y equal 4 sine 3x to find amplitude modulus A. So modulus 4 equal 4. To find period, in homework, they use the symbol omega, but it's okay. Just like Y equal A sine alpha x. Okay, from notes, they use the symbol alpha, but in homework, they use the symbol omega, but it's the same. Okay, if you want to compare A sine omega x. Okay, so for this one, omega or alpha is 3. So to find period, 2 pi over omega or 2 pi over alpha equal to pi over 3. Okay, for question number 1, to find amplitude equal -2. So amplitude equal 2. And then to find period t is 2 pi over here 6x. 2 pi over 6 simplify pi over 3. Question number 2, to find amplitude equal modulus 5 equal to 5. To find period, 2 pi over, so here is 2x. 2 pi over 2 equal pi. For question 3, amplitude equal here negative. So modulus -1 equal 1. And then to find period, 2 pi over x over 3. So 1 over 3. 2 pi divided by 1 over 3, the period is 6 pi. Okay, for part B. So now we are given the graph. Previous question, you are given the equation and you need to determine the value for amplitude and period. For this one, you are given the graph. Okay, determine the amplitude, period, equation of the graph, and type of function, whether even or odd, and give reason to support your statement. Okay, let's look at the first one. It is very important for you to recognize one cycle of the graph. Okay, nak jawab soalan untuk graph of trigger function, penting untuk awak kenal pasti dulu satu cycle lengkap dia dari mana sampai mana. So for this one, kita boleh ambil from 0. Okay, here. From here, 0 until 3 pi over 2. Okay, that is one complete cycle. Okay, amplitude. Amplitude boleh tengok ketinggian dia belah atas ni 5, bawah -5. So amplitude equal 5. And then period. Period is size of one cycle. So kita tengok satu cycle tadi, size dia adalah 3 pi per 2. And then to find the equation. Okay, kalau tengok bentuk graf ni, ni adalah graf sine. Tapi kalau graf sine yang asal macam ni. So ini terbalik. Okay, bila terbalik, y equal negative a sine alpha x. Okay, ada negatif sebab bentuknya terbalik. A, we know that amplitude is equal to 5. Alpha, okay, kita tak tahu nilai alpha. Alpha kita boleh dapat daripada period, because to find period equal 2 pi over alpha, which is 3 pi over 2. So from here we get alpha equal 4 over 3. So now we can substitute y equal -5 sine 4 over 3 x. So that is the equation of the graph. Then even or odd. Since this graph is graph of sine x, odd function, because symmetry about the origin. Okay, let's take a look at the second graph. Okay, macam saya bagi tahu tadi, penting untuk awak kenal pasti dulu satu cycle. So here we can start from 0. Okay, from 0 until 6. Okay, so one subinterval, two subinterval, three subinterval, four subinterval. Okay, so ini lengkap daripada kosong sehingga 6. Amplitude 3, negatif 3. So amplitude 3. Period. One complete cycle, the size is 6. Okay, and then by looking at the shape of the graph, we know that this is graph A cos alpha x. So we know that amplitude equals 3. We only need to find the value for alpha and we can get it from the period. Okay. We know that to find period equal 2 pi over alpha and period equal to 6. So from there we got alpha equal pi over 3. Substitute y equal 3 cos pi over 3 x. So that is the equation of our graph. Okay. Since this is a cos graph, so the graph is even function. Even function because symmetry about the y-axis. Okay, now let's continue with phase shift. If alpha more than 0, so again, if alpha more than 0, okay, we did not discuss the case for alpha less than 0, only for alpha more than 0, then y equal a sine alpha x minus phi. Okay, this symbol is phi. We pronounce it as F-E-E, phi. Or y equal a cos alpha x minus phi. But again, this is just symbol as we mentioned earlier. Dekat buku ni tadi guna alpha, tapi dalam homework guna omega x. So it doesn't matter. As long as you know a sine alpha x minus phi ataupun omega x minus phi, y equal a cos alpha x minus phi. So simbol untuk alpha dan phi ni boleh tukarlah jadi simbol yang lain. Amplitude. Okay, from the equation to find amplitude, A modulus A sama. To find period, 2 pi over alpha. Okay, one new thing here is how to find phase shift. Phase shift, phi over alpha. Find the amplitude, period, and phase shift for the following function. Okay, first equation y equal to sine x minus pi. Okay, you can compare to y equal a sine alpha x minus phi. So a 2, alpha 1, and phi is pi. From there we get amplitude 2. To find period, 2 pi over alpha, so 2 pi over 1 equal to pi. And then the easiest way to find the phase shift is just to take a value inside bracket. So here we have x minus pi equal 0, x equal pi. So phase shift equal pi. Second equation we can compare with y equal a cos alpha x minus phi. So a is 3, alpha also 3, phi is 4 pi. Okay. So for amplitude, modulus negative 3, amplitude equal 3, period, 2 pi over alpha. Okay, alpha is over here, 3x, so 2 pi over 3. Okay, to find phase shift, kita ambil je semua yang dalam bracket. Okay. 3x plus 4 pi equals 0. And then we get x equal negative 4 over 3 pi. That is the value for our phase shift. Okay, let's try question from homework. Determine the amplitude, period, and phase shift for the following function. Okay. First, let's look at the example. Negative 2 sine 4x minus 3 pi. We can compare with y equal a sine in bracket alpha x minus phi. Okay, amplitude 2. And then this is alpha. To find period, 2 pi over alpha or omega. So 2 pi over 4 equal pi over 2. And then this is the value of phi. Okay, but the easiest way to find phase shift, just take 4x minus 3 pi equals 0. From there, we get x equal 3 pi over 4. So phase shift 3 pi over 4. Okay. Question number 1, y equal 4 sine x minus pi over 4. To find the amplitude, equal modulus 4. So amplitude equal 4. Okay, to find period is 2 pi over alpha or 2 pi over omega. In this case, omega equal 1. So period is 2 pi. And then to find phase shift, take everything inside the bracket. X minus pi over 4 equals 0. X equal pi over 4. And that is our phase shift. Question 2, y equal 3 cos 3x plus 2 pi. Amplitude 3. So modulus 3. And then to find period, 2 pi over omega. Our omega is here 3. So 2 pi over 3. And then phase shift. Take everything inside the bracket. 3x plus 2 pi equals 0. X equal negative 2 pi over 3. And that is our phase shift. Equation number 3. Y equal negative cos x plus pi. For amplitude, negative maksudnya negative 1. So amplitude equal 1. And then to find the period t, 2 pi over omega. Omega here x. So omega equal 1. So period is only 2 pi. And then to find phase shift, take everything inside bracket. X plus pi equals 0. So x equal negative pi. Negative pi is our phase shift. Okay, let's look at some example from books. Example 16. Consider the following graph of trigonometric function. So, as I mentioned before, it is very important for us to recognize one complete cycle of the graph. So, by looking at this graph, one cycle we can take from 0 until pi. Okay, itu satu complete cycle. Okay, kalau tengok itu graph sine lah, graph sine x. Okay, determine the amplitude. Look at the graph 3, negative 3. So amplitude equal 3. Correct. Period. Period, size of one cycle. Tengok satu cycle tadi from 0 until pi. Ini complete lah satu cycle. Macam nak tahu complete tak? Kita tahu bentuk tadi kan? Bentuk graph sine. Kalau complete mesti macam ni. Sorry. Okay, kalau graph sine complete dia mesti macam ni. Kalau cos complete dia macam ni. Okay, so complete one cycle, the size is pi. T equal pi. The equation of the graph. Okay, tadi kita dah determine this is graph of sine x. Okay, so y equal a sine alpha x. A we know amplitude equal 3. Nak dapatkan alpha, kita boleh dapat daripada period, because to find period, 2 pi over alpha and period is pi. So from there we know that, from there we get that alpha equal 2. Okay, kita dah tahu amplitude 3, alpha 2, boleh substitute. And the equation is y equal 3 sine 2x. And since the graph is graph sine, so odd function, because the graph is symmetry about the origin. Okay, example 17. Consider the following graph of trigo function. Okay, nombor 1 kita kena cari one complete cycle. So kalau tengok ni, boleh mula dari sini sampai sini. Okay, so itu one complete cycle dan kita nampak bentuk dia ini adalah graph cos. A, amplitude tinggi atas 5, bawah negatif 5, amplitude sama dengan 5. Betul. Period, size untuk satu cycle. Okay, satu cycle tadi from here until here and the size is 8. Function of the graph. Okay, kerana bentuk cos ni terbalik. Okay, patutnya cos tadi macam ni kan. U ataupun graph senyum. Ini graph dia masam terbalik. So negative. Y equal negative A cos alpha x. We know that the amplitude is 5 from the graph, but we do not know the value for alpha. We can get alpha from period. Okay, to find period, T equal to pi over alpha and the period is 8. And then from there we get that alpha equal pi over 4. So we can just substitute. Okay, we know that amplitude 5, alpha pi over 4, and this is the equation of the graph. For D, whether the function of the graph is odd or even. Since this is cos, so the graph is even function. State the reason why. Because the graph is symmetry about the y-axis. Okay, that is for this part of the topic. Thank you.